So this person says, what the fuck did Biden do for you? Serious question. You do nothing but bash Trump and the right. 40-year high inflation at 9.1 question mark, 59% gas increase question mark, 34% air travel question mark, 350 a gallon average. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So let's just first touch on these things. The president doesn't control the price of gas or the price of airfare. All of this shit is the market. If you have a problem with all of this shit that you're rattling off here at the end, what you have a problem with is capitalism. That's your problem. Capitalism sets your airfare rate. Capitalism. Sorry, I got a little scar on my face here. Capitalism sets your fuel prices. Hey, you're blaming the president for shit that's not his fault. It just isn't. But I understand that you guys can't grasp that simple concept. So let's go ahead and deal with the first question. What the fuck did Biden do for you? A lot. A lot. We were in a position under Trump where we were in unnecessary trade wars with China, and China started buying their agricultural commodities from Brazil and Russia primarily instead of the United States. And we saw a massive drop off in bulk agricultural exports. Bulk agricultural exports is part of how we make our money. My wife and I own 50% of a small trucking company, and that's all those trucks pull, bulk agricultural exports. So when Trump starts trade wars with China and China stops buying bulk agricultural exports, our business suffers. When China goes back to buying American agricultural exports, our business thrives. So that's one thing he did. Another thing he did was he took the fucking pandemic seriously. I don't know if you recall 2020, but we had a president that purposely ignored a global pandemic in order to not make himself look bad when he said, it's just a couple of people coming in from China and we'll have it down to zero in no time flat. Instead of coming to the microphone 2 weeks later and saying, hey, you know what? I made a mistake and we're going to shift gears and we're going to really get our arms around this thing and we're going to get it under control. He couldn't admit he was wrong. And so for the better part of a year, only essential employees went to work. Our economy tanked. Millions of people were out of work. And as a result, we were looking at very uncertain economic times. We got back on track under Joe Biden. That's another thing he did for us. My kids were being schooled at home because of the way the pandemic was handled under Trump, and they got to go back to school under Joe Biden. Under Donald Trump, we couldn't go out to the movies. We couldn't go out to eat. We couldn't go on a vacation. We couldn't go see a ball game. We couldn't go see a concert or go to a comedy show. We got back to that under Joe Biden. He did a lot for me and the nation I live in. He appointed a Supreme Court justice that actually gives a fuck about women's bodily autonomy. I have a wife, 3 daughters, and 2 granddaughters. That means a great deal to me. As a matter of fact, on the list of things that I vote for, abortion access, women's health care, is quite literally at the top of that list. Quite literally. Especially now that we live in a country where my daughters and granddaughters can't control their own bodily autonomy in over 24 states. That's a fucking problem for me. That's a big problem for me. When people say, what are you voting for? One of the top 5 things I'll rattle off, women's health care. It means that much to me because my daughters and granddaughters mean that much to me. So yeah, Joe Biden did quite a bit for me. My question for you is, what did Donald Trump do for you? You want to ask me what Joe Biden did for me? I'll return the question. What did Donald Trump do for you? Give me specific. Don't just say he made America great again. Give me specifics of what Donald Trump did to better your life. I would love to hear this.